I was in the wrong room.
I would like to call the Finance, Ways and Means Appropriations Subcommittee to order Monday, April 1st, 2024. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Representatives Baum, Barrett, Boyd, Freeman, Hazelwood, Hicks, Kiesling, Lynn, Miller, Sparks, Zachary, Chairman Williams. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, members. Thank you for coming here. April Fool's Day to everyone. So happy April Fool's Day to everyone. No April Fools here today. However, as you can see, the members are sitting in the chairs before me. Members of GovOps will be taken first. We ask the members to try to limit their discussion because we have 276 budget amendments with a little under $2 billion in requests today. The governor has appropriated $30 million non-recurring, $3 million recurring for these requests. So, as you know, it's a difficult budget year. We'd ask you to, if you have 3 or more, we'd ask that you'd prioritize those in your description of those budget amendments today. We're going to take you up in order as you enter the room. If you will, when you come before the microphone, obviously turn it on. If you will, state your name and also the first appropriation amendment number that you're going so the members of the committee can flip to the page in which you were on. Should the members wish to that are not present, you're able to follow along in the dashboard as well as that information is on. With that, thank you. Yes, to the members that are in the body, there are copies of the budget amendments as the members come in. They're sitting beside the lectern there. You can take one and go with you, and we'll try to take those people out of order. And so to hear these budget appropriation amendments, we're going to go out of session. And first on my list is Leader Lamberth. Leader Lamberth, you are recognized.
Mr. Chairman, would you prefer us to each to be at the podium or remain in the seats here?
You can stay there, or if somebody wants, they can fill in the podium. Either
All right.
You're good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to do what you tell us to.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, start off on a high note here. Item number 130, which is budget number 18, was funded in the AA. It's $905,340 of non-recurring money for a Nashville teacher residency. And so you can take that one off your list. I hope there are many other members that just ask y'all to take theirs off their list too, and y'all can move on. So, Mr. Chairman, item number 131, and this is on page number 10. This one, this is for the Human Coalition. If you're not familiar with the work that they do, folks these days get everything that they could possibly get through a cell phone or an internet website. And these folks literally just support pregnant women and families and stabilization. And they help rescue children from very difficult situations that potentially could be deadly. And so this group literally just provides resources when a young mother is pregnant and is searching for resources out there. They work with some of those algorithms and everything online to be able to get them to the resources that they need. And so that's $1.4 million non-recurring. And there's not a lot of budget requests that I can tell you that will preserve lives and help families, but this one definitely will. So, Mr. Chairman, also item number 132 is for the healthcare safety net. Chairman, you know I bring this one every year. I mean, it's a $5 million recurring ask, and it helps healthcare safety net services. Ever since that we had the Affordable Care Act, which has turned out to be relatively unaffordable, we have had a significant number of healthcare safety net needs out there amongst some of the clinics that are dealing with the folks that really slipped through the cracks. So I know that is kind of an annual ask, and we've done a lot in that area. Item number 133, which is Budget Amendment 21, is $12 million non-recurring for youth villages. This is gun violence prevention and intervention programs. And I know Representative Sparks has talked about this several different times, but I mean, if we really want to make communities safer, we need to get ahead of the problem and not just do stuff on the backside, really get out there and do things like making sure that children have the support systems that they need before they fall into a life of crime. Mr. Chairman, item number 134, this would be a non-recurring ask, but really the ask would be over about 3 years' time for 4-H and FFA. I don't know about y'all, when I was a kid, I went to 4-H camps, I went to FFA camps. My children have done that as well. It is an integral part of growing up to be involved in these two programs. The problem is the camps that they have kind of languished over the years. I mean, 4-H has one new camp, and that's about all they've gotten in the last few decades. So between 4-H and FFA both, this really does fund a portion of capital development projects to expand educational programs at these youth camp centers. And 4-H and FFA, obviously, they go well beyond just those two programs, but that's what that would fund. If you don't know the folks that live like Lou, please get to know them. Item number 135, which is Budget Amendment 23, is for $4.75 million. This is for ALS research at Vanderbilt. So we all have a dear friend whose name I will not mention right now that is suffering from ALS. I've lost 2 friends in the last 5 years to this horrible disease. There's no reason why, with all the technological advancements we have and the medical advancements that we have in this country, and especially with having an institution like Vanderbilt and having lived like Lou right here locally, that we can't get ahead of this and actually cure this particular disease, or at least greatly diminish the amount of symptoms that folks are suffering from. So that $4.75 million, I mean, look, it's non-recurring. The money's there in the budget. There's no reason why we shouldn't do this, and it will go a long way towards research for this. Mr. Chairman, I'm more than halfway through, so thanks for hanging with me. Item number 136, which is House Bill, which is Amendment number 24, is $4.1 million for ADAs. It's one additional assistant district attorney position in each judicial district. This is 32 districts throughout the state. We need more assistant district attorneys out there. We need more prosecutors. You will get better results in safer communities if we were to fund that. That is recurring and non-recurring. There's $150,000 of non-recurring funds on item 137, which is Amendment number 25. Look, this may or may not be an organization that you're familiar with. I would be willing to bet that Representative Lynn has heard of them, but Decisions, Choices, and Options, they do family life curriculums, and it's educational programs for youth regarding sexual risk avoidance and abstinence education. This is what's in our statutes. It's what's in the federal law. The difference is they do it from a factual standpoint. My daughter recently went through this program, and I will tell you the program is good enough that I have personally written checks to this organization. They just go about it from a very factual, scientific standpoint that, quite frankly, kids understand and get. So it's a really good program. They used to get some federal dollars. They don't anymore. This would be state dollars that would go toward them. They're only asking for $150,000 in non-recurring. And you'll notice that I have several co-sponsors on that one, Doggett, Brick, and Rudder, and Slater. One of the reasons that they're co-sponsors is this helps them go into additional counties that they would not currently be in. So it's just a good program. I got 2 more, Mr. Chairman, then I'm done. And members, thank you for your patience. It's item number 138 on page 10, which is Budget Amendment 26. This is $3 million for non-recurring. This is for the Nashville Diaper Connection. This funds 5 existing diaper banks in East, Middle, and West Tennessee to purchase approximately 11 million diapers. Y'all, talk to young families, talk to families that are struggling. I promise you they will tell you that the price of diapers is a significant burden for them. I met the guy that runs this organization several years ago, and I hate to just mention organizations that I've personally written checks to, but if I'm not willing to write a check to it personally, how in the world can I sit here and ask y'all to fund state dollars into it? But they fundraise like crazy out there, and the first time I met this guy, I went home and wrote a check because that's all they do. They just give diapers out to families that need them, and anywhere that will. If you know an organization that works with young families, if you'll reach out to the Nashville Diaper Connection, and I've done this recently, they will partner with their organization to get folks diapers that need it. So it's just a good thing. Last on the list, but one of the most important here is the Jason Foundation. We did over the last 3 years some non-recurring funding for Jason's Foundation. It's item number 139, amendment number 27. This would be a $500,000 non-recurring suicide prevention grant. If you're not familiar with Jason's Foundation, please go look them up. They are based out of Hendersonville, but they are literally a national organization that works to decrease the amount of teen suicides that we have out there, both attempts and completions. And it comes at a time when we are struggling with our youth. The pandemic was horrible for them. It's tough on us as adults, but it was horrible for the kids. And we are still seeing the effects of that between a lot of other things. And so the Jason Foundation does a great job of helping save young teen lives. And Mr. Chairman, that's the end of my presentation. I know that you got a lot to get through, so I tried to rattle through mine pretty quickly. I hope that all of the members do the same.
Thank you, Leader Lambert. Appreciate that. Next on our list is Speaker Johnson. He's on page 9 for those following along. To the members, I forgot to mention earlier, As Chair Lady Hazelwood and Vice Chairman Baum and Chairman Hicks and I worked through with the Senate staff, I will say those budget appropriation amendments that have statewide application or regional application instead of local application tend to find more favor, particularly since we're spending those dollars statewide. I did not mention that earlier, but wanted to make sure that we did that for the record. Next up, Speaker Johnson in his last budget appropriation amendment request series. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And did I understand you want us to be brief?
Yes, that.
Okay.
Thank you, Speaker.
That's
I recognize that
understood.
you do notice as we do, but in defense of Leader Lambert, that was brief for him. And I do take into consideration the member and their ability to use the English language better than others. But with that being said, Speaker Johnson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start out with item number 118, which is $2,300,000 recurring to Centerstone Military Services to be used for mental health services for military veterans, reservists, National Guard, and their families across the state. We've funded them for the last several years. We're just trying to put it on a recurring basis. $500,000 for Big Brothers. Item number 119, $500,000 non-recurring for Big Brothers and Big Sisters to be distributed equally across the state. $5,453,400 to TennCare. Item number 20 to increase pediatric dentist provider rates. $200 million non-recurring. Number 121 to the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce for workforce retention and upskilling programs designed to support military service members and their spouses that enter the workforce.
Just to clarify for those who may be listening, that's 200,000, not 200 million.
Well, 200,000. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was trying to be brief here, Mr. Chairman. Number 122 should not be on there. Number 123, $23,055,590 to Austin Peay State University for establishing and housing degree programs with high workforce domain and military in a military academic building. And Mr. Chairman, number 124 is $7,500,000 non-recurring to the city of Clarksville for the construction of a performing arts center, and $7,500,000 for a performing arts center, and $17 million recurring, number 124, to TennCare for providing stability funds to nursing homes. And Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Thank you, Speaker Johnson, for your work for nursing homes across the state. I know that they're through a provider rate challenge right now as it relates to those reimbursement rates. So I know that monies would go a long way. We appreciate you very much in your service to our state and look forward to seeing you round third base and head home, but appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Next on my list is a member of the GovOps committee. Those members of the GovOps committee will come first. You can, Mr. Eldridge or Representative Eldridge, you'll go after Reagan at the podium. Chairman Reagan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm on page 13, item number 183, House Amendment number 65, which requests $125,000 of non-recurring funds for the Tennessee Wing of the Civil Air Patrol, which is a statewide organization. This listed for equipment and procurement and maintenance. This is in relation to their support of our state in disaster relief. They provide logistics, communication, and aerial reconnaissance during natural disasters, and were indispensable in responding to disasters such as tornadoes here in Middle Tennessee and the Great Smoky Mountains fire of 2016. In essence, they are serving the entire state, and in particular, I want to mention one item that I hope will garner the committee's particular attention. It didn't make it into the short blurb there, but they sponsor a cadet program which preps young people in critical STEM fields. As you know, our state is short in that area, and this organization helps to fill that gap. Unfortunately, we have not provided funds for this organization since before COVID. They rely on limited federal funds and contributions, and our state is taking advantage of their organization for free in some cases. With that, sir, I will close my request.
Thank you, Chairman Reagan, for coming today. Next up at the podium, Representative Eldridge, you are recognized for the members on page 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Starting with item number 47, the Friends of Hospice at Serenity House. This is an end-of-life facility. And when I say that, I mean it's literally the end of life. Their average stay is about 2 weeks. I had a gentleman that worked for me for 28 years that spent 1 day there. They have nowhere else to go. They can't stay in the hospital, and family a lot of times are just not able to take care of them. So that would be one request that we'd ask for $50,000 non-recurring. I want to skip down to item number 50. Granger County, of course, is a beautiful area of the country. There's 2 major things they have there to offer, and that is great tomatoes and a rich Civil War history. They are wanting to be able to access an island that in the Civil War, it was not an island. But working with TVA to try to secure the ability to create a park there. They're looking at 1.8 acres of land for parking and access to this island development. So that ask on that one is $150,000. Skipping back up to item number 48, there is Hamilton County is looking to update Cherokee Park Citizen Tribune Jefferson Federal Amphitheater at Cherokee Park, and also the Horner Dowdery Pavilion there. And that ask is $110,000. And then last on the list is number 49, Morristown Utility System to aid in the relocation of sewer and electric lines along a widening project of State Route 25. Oh, excuse me, 11E, I'm sorry, in the east part of Hamlin County. So those are the 4 requests.
Perfect. Thank you, Representative Eldridge, for coming today, and thank you for putting those in priority order for us as well.
Thank you, Chairman.
Representative Martin is next on my list, page 11 on your schedule. Representative Martin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 3 requests. Agenda item number 155, amendment number 32, is a request for $50,000 for the Adult and Teen Challenge of the Mid-South. Last year, we were able to do a little something for them, and I'm asking again this year. It's an addiction recovery program and helps with services, including life skills and training resources for program enrollees. The second request is item number 154, amendment number 31 to the Houston Museum of Decorative Arts, $30,000. It's an education and outreach program to offer low-cost or free opportunities to schools, senior citizens, and others, both in and out of town. And my third and final request is agenda number 156, amendment number 33 to the Chambliss Center for Children, asking for $200,000. It is a 24/7 early childhood education and child care to primarily low-income families, foster care services, and housing and support for young adults who age out of the foster care system. This organization serves over 1,000 children and youth in Hamilton County and beyond.
Perfect. Thank you, Representative Martin, for coming here today. Next on my list is Representative Capley, page 2. I believe it is page 2. Representative, nope, it's not page 2. Page 3 of 17. Representative McCalman, if you'll make yourself available at this empty chair up here, you'll go next since you're on GovOps. Representative Capley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, item number 29 is for Wayne County Schools. Is some updates and renovations to Collinwood's baseball facilities. Pretty simple, $20,000 ask. The concession stand in the area, anytime they have a large rain, it floods. They need some dirt work. Also, the locker rooms and restroom facilities there are not usable. So that's the first request. Second request, item number 30 is a statewide application. It says South Central region, but it could be statewide as well. What it is they're LED light bulbs, Bluetooth light bulbs that strobe red, white, and blue during an emergency. This basically came to me from a constituent that's a former EMT. He started this company, yada, yada. What it does is if you live in an apartment complex or modular housing, a lot of times when you get a call from the EMT, they don't exactly know where they're going. So the light bulb would be installed outside. When the person calls 911, it would strobe red, white, and blue.
Thank you, Representative Caffley, with a fresh haircut and the first yada yada of the
Yes, sir.
afternoon. So I appreciate that.
Yes,
But
sir.
appreciate you coming here today. Next on the
Thank you,
list,
Mr. Chairman.
Representative McCalman, you are on page 11. Representative McCalman, you are recognized. I don't think your microphone's on. I know
There we
you're
go.
new
Testing
to this.
1, 2, 3. Sorry about that. Thank you, Chairman and members. Budget Amendment 60 is an amendment from Viable Inc. It's a nonprofit here in Tennessee. Money will go towards helping Tennesseans that have survived abuse. It'll help support those survivors with programs focused on reintegration and connecting them to meaningful employment. Without these types of programs, many vulnerable citizens risk being re-exploited, institutionalized, incarcerated, and or homeless. Again, I would thank you for any consideration on this.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you had, was that both? Yes. Yep, you only had one. Thank you. Appreciate it, Representative. Next on my
Thank you,
list,
Chairman Committee.
Chairman Hawk, you are recognized. Representative Davis, if you will grab a chair, that'd be great. And Representative Kiesling, are you still in the room? Oh, never mind. You'll do it from your desk. We'll wait till you're at the end. Yes, Chairman Hawk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll start with item number 92 on your calendars. It's on page 7 of 17. It is $2 million non-recurring to the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services for the sole purpose of making a grant in this amount to Child First in order to be used to implement an evidence-based home visiting model for licensed mental health professionals and care coordinators to meet with children and their caretakers in their homes to provide families with support to overcome adversity, address effects of trauma, and strengthen parent-child relationships. This program and programs like these across the state have been proven to assist families for many years, and continuation $2 million there. The second request is item number 91. Many of you all are familiar with the health screening that we get every year at the beginning of session. This is $25,000 for restoration of a men's health awareness grant. This goes across the state as well, and that's just one example of what these folks do. One of the primary objectives is to do what we've seen done before, is to detect through the PSA test the potential for prostate cancer in men. That's what my two do, Mr. Chairman and members.
Thank you, Chairman Hawk. Appreciate
you.
that very much. Representative Sherrill, you're next. For the members, Representative Sherrill is on page 14. You're recognized, Representative Sherrill.
Thank you, Chairman and members. Page number 14, number 195, Amendment 010 is for Bondycroft Fire Department, volunteer department that is in a community. The community is growing and needing more assistance, and so they have been able to purchase a used big fire truck from up north, and they're needing more room to put this fire truck in, so they're wanting to build on a extra bay there for the fire department truck, and we sure would appreciate your help in trying to help them. And we need to help our volunteer fire departments the best we can, so I asked for $250,000 for that to help them.
Thank you, Representative Sherrill. Appreciate that very much. Next on my list, Chairman Terry, you're recognized. While he is queued up, he's on page 14. Chair Lady Littleton, you'll be next at the podium after Dr. Terry's done, so you can get back to GovOps. Chairman Terry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. I have one item. It's item 196. And as you are well aware, Tennessee has a long involved history with Native American culture, including Andrew Jackson signing the Indian Removal Act of 1830 and Sequoia's subsequent efforts to reunite the Cherokee. The state has provided some funding for a Native American Cultural Center in Davidson County, but with inflation and construction costs, there is need for further assistance. And so I'm asking for non-recurring $750,000 to the Native American Indian Association in order to help build the Native American Cultural Center. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Terry. Thank you very much. Next on my list is Chair Lady Littleton from the podium. Chair Lady Littleton can be found on page 10. You are recognized,
Thank
Chair
you,
Lady.
Mr. Chairman. The Water Authority of Dixon County was formed as a regional water and wastewater service provider in 2002 by the consolidation of the City of Dixon Water and the wastewater system, Turnbull, White Bluff Utility District, and Harpeth Utility District. Combining these entities resulted in centralized water service to approximately 75% of the land mass and population of Dixon County, as well as portions of surrounding counties. In 2006, the City of Fairview's water and wastewater system were acquired, as well as the wastewater system for the town of White Bluff in 2015. And now the current total customer base is approximately 22,000 water customers and approximately 11,000 wastewater customers. Since the original consolidation, WADC has been used as a model throughout Tennessee for other utility districts interested in combining to provide regional services. So due to the oncoming and projected growth in the region served, we have determined that the additional wastewater treatment capacity will be needed in the near future. Based on the preliminary evaluations of several alternatives, it appeared that a new wastewater reclamation facility in East Hickman area would be the most viable alternate. Based on the preliminary engineering report, application was made to TDEC for permit to discharge to Lick Creek. Subsequently, TDEC denied the permit application in December 23. One of the alternatives evaluated in the preliminary engineering report was major expansion of the Jones Creek wastewater treatment plant. Additionally, we evaluated the conveyance of the treated wastewater to a larger body of water, such as the Cumberland River. The economic analysis of this opportunity reveals that it would result in a significant cost service increase for our current and projected customers. For this reason, we are respectfully requesting assistance to the state made this alternate feasible. The requested assistance should enable the WADC to meet wastewater treatment demands for years. I'm trying to go fast, sorry.
Thank you, Chair Lady Littleton. You talked about where you were denied the request from TDEC. The question was, prior to that denial, did this utility, did they submit for part of the ARPA funding as it relates to water and wastewater improvements? If not, you might want to ask
I will ask. I
about
think they
that.
did. I'm pretty
My
sure
office
they
will be
did.
happy to help you.
Mhm.
Then you have one more.
I do. So this is for a cabin. It's called the Lonesome Historic Site cabin. It was built in 1820, and they're wanting to put furnish the cabin, security for the property, museum for the Lonesome and Burns Historical Education, a gift shop, and purchase the adjacent land to house the museum, additional walking trails, benches and picnic tables for visitors. They're really hoping this will be a park where children can come school trip and bring their school children.
Thank you, Chair Lady Littleton, for
welcome.
your advocacy. Next on my list will be Representative Davis. Chairman Lafferty, if you'll sit at this centered chair right here, you're next because you're on GovOps. And then I'm to you, Representative Burkhart. Representative Davis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm item 39 on page 3. It's HA 141. And essentially what we're wanting to do is in the state of Tennessee, there's approximately 162,863 female students in high school in the grades 9 through 12. Our school system currently provides toilet paper and paper towels and soap. Unfortunately, for some young ladies, the necessary products for their menstrual cycle, they're not able to secure those products. And with regard to TANF funds or WIC funds, the way that these products are currently in our tax code, they're listed as non-essential luxury goods. So they don't qualify under those public assistance programs. So what we're wanting to do with this pilot program is create a grant fund for $200,000 non-recurring that we can also use to leverage with other corporations and other entities to bring into this pilot program to provide those products for young ladies in the school system so that way where our studies have shown 1 in 4 are absent during this cycle because of lack of products. We're wanting to keep them healthy and in the classroom.
Thank you, Representative Davis. Appreciate that very much. Next on my list, yes, do you have a question, Representative Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Davis, I see where your co-sponsors are Clemens, Whitson, and Hazelwood, correct?
Yes, sir.
But sounds like a great program. Seems as if it was trying to be statewide, but we are limited to, is it statewide or we just limited to where?
I believe that we would try to implement it statewide. And also there's a House bill that we're trying to move this through. And we do have a lot of support and co-signers onto that House bill. It's just behind the budget. So this is another avenue that we're trying to pursue in order to make sure that these young ladies have these products.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Yes, Representative Burkhardt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 2 items. The first one is the large one. It's me and Speaker Johnson. It's for $45 million. And it's non-reoccurring, thank goodness. But it is for a road. This is a road project on 237. The county has already spent $10 million on this project, and they have another $10 million in this year's budget. This was a road that was planned, I think in 2017 or 18. And the county has gone ahead and built schools on this road, and now it's 2 lanes, and it's really windy. And we're trying to get that moved on out and get that project finished. And I think there was an agreement back then to start the project, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. So we're just trying to get that project finished, where those will soon be the 3rd school on that project. Wow. The other one is $2 million. It's non-recurring. It's for a set of baseball fields. It's kind of in the middle of what I call the Fort Campbell region boulevards, where all the kids from Fort Campbell live in subdivisions, and trying to rebuild that baseball complex. I played there. Speaker Johnson played there. It's been there a while. And so we would like to get that put back together. And this county's got a $12 million project. They put in 10. We're just trying to close the gap.
Thank you, Representative. That must be a really old baseball field.
Speaker Johnson played there as a child.
Yes, it was. Thank you. Thank you very much. Representative Alexander, if you'll sit in his seat, you'll be coming up later. Chairman Lafferty, you are recognized, so you can get to GovOps.
No, thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that. First item I got here, 127, asking his meager ask, I might add, $1,000 for the Tennessee Children's Home there in my district. They don't just take kids from Knox County, they take kids from surrounding counties as well. This money could be used to help with entertainment, keeping the facilities kept up, things like that, help those young men get back on track again. Second up, item number 128 is for the Carnes Lions Club. We've got a community pool there in Carnes that was on the brink of closure, and one of the people in the community decided to take out a mortgage against their house to open it back up again. He's also a member of the Lions Club, and was asking for $500 just to help them with some of the expenses that they incur every year when they open. And then finally, item 129 is for the Beaver Creek Kayak Club. They are a group that has started opening up Blue Ways. Everybody's probably familiar with Greenways these days. Blue Way is just on the water, same kind of deal. You get to kayak down the river. They do pickups a couple of times a year, pull trash out of there. I can't tell you how many hundreds of thousands of pounds of logs and everything that they pulled out, not to mention the bags of trash. I've been on one of those trips before. Everybody takes a potato sack in their boat, and you don't get out until you fill up your potato sack with garbage. So anyway, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. For the members, you can use campaign finance money to support local nonprofits. Local nonprofits in your communities, and Representative Lafferty, I'd be delighted to contribute to one in your community. So I appreciate that very much. It is great you're here advocating for your community. I remember the fine chair lady, one of the former member who's no longer here, so we won't use his, asked for a helicopter pad for five years, I believe it was. And I believe she graciously helped contribute to the campaign to make sure that that helicopter pad was constructed. But anyways, thank you, Chairman Lafferty. Really appreciate it. Next on my list, Chairman Kiesling, so we can get to GovOps. He's pulling double duty today. Chairman Kiesling, members, you can see his budget appropriations on page 9.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. It is Amendment 104, which will allocate $500,000 to the Department of Tourism for the sole purpose of creating a grant application to provide relief to our Tennessee marinas across the state. Now, currently, these marinas sit on our Tennessee waterways, providing an important role in tourism to our state. This amendment will help in assisting these marinas in their continued support of tourism at the local and state levels. And let me footnote, please, that please do not confuse this with the ongoing funding that these marinas get from the sale of gasoline at their facilities. So this is a different batch of money. Thank you for that, for the time, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Kiesling. Next on my list, Representative Hakeem, you're recognized for GovOps.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Page 6 to the members.
All right. Yes, sir. The 5 Tennessee Feeding America food banks across our state respectfully request $500,000 from the state of Tennessee special appropriations to split equally among the 5 food banks. The food banks are committed to using this money solely to purchase food from local Tennessee growers and producers. This is the amount that we're asking for is only 14% of what we have received previously from the federal government. There was, I'm going to use the term, a glitch with our Department of Agriculture unintentionally. And as a result, there's a $7 million gap in the funding that would be used for this purpose. The Department of Agriculture has been and is an invaluable supporter of the farms and food banks, and shared deep commitment to this process. These funds will make it possible for us to provide fresh, nutritious foods to our neighbors facing food insecurity, that they also showcase Tennessee's producers and strengthen our Tennessee economy. And if you would look at where we have co-sponsors, you see this is a bipartisan effort because we have people from every stripe, we'll say, that is in need of food, and this would keep the process moving forward.
Thank you, Representative Hakeem, for coming here today. Yes. Next on my list is Leader Gant. Leader Gant, you're recognized. Doggett, if you'll take that chair in the center, Fritz, where Gant is when you leave. Representative Gant, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and committee. I'll be as brief as possible here. Item number 62.
Page 5.
Yeah, item number 62 this was brought to me by my sheriff in McNairy County, which is leading a project of building a Tennessee law enforcement memorial wall in McNairy County. And we are asking for $25,000 to go towards that project. But we are at the diligence of this committee to whatever they see fit to go towards that. Item number 63 is a appropriation ask for the city of Somerville, which is to be used for the construction of a new regional fire training center for West Tennessee. And Mr. Chairman, item number 64 comes to me from the University of, comes from the University of Tennessee for the renovation of the general education building at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center to provide space for gross anatomy laboratory. And the proposed gross anatomy lab will be a modern, updated facility and will provide safe, state-of-the-art environment conducive to student learning for more than 500 students and residents annually. The greater capacity will allow for future enrollment growth in programs that produce highly skilled healthcare professionals for direct patient-facing roles in the fields of medicine, dentistry, occupational therapy, physical therapy, physician assistant, pathologist assistant, nurse anesthesia, and others. And Mr. Chairman, that is just a very brief summary of what this overall project would do. The last item I've got is item number 65. Mr. Chairman, this amendment is asking for no new money. We are asking with this budget amendment to direct the Department of Mental Health to use COVID funds that have shown still having unspent balances. The department told this committee that they were asking for an extension from the feds to hold on to what they reported was 17 million in these COVID dollars that were going to be clawed back by the feds this month. I'm trying to, as you know, I'm working on a lot of issues around DUIs and drunk driving in this state. And I saw this as a funding as an avenue to provide medication-assisted treatment for those who suffer with alcohol use disorder. I've asked in this amendment that 2 million of these COVID dollars be directed by the department to use Vivitrol to help serve those suffering with alcohol use disorder. Vivitrol is used for patients addicted to opiates or alcohol, and it aids in the treatment process without using opiates to treat the addiction. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Gant. Just as a quick update, and particularly on yours, I noticed that you do go in sequential order as it relates to those. Is the priority of which you have them submitted on the list, the priority in which you wish them to be funded, or is it a different order? If so, could you tell me what order that would be?
Mr. Chair, you really put me on the spot here. I would.
That's not the intent, Representative Gant. We were just trying to say you have 4 budget appropriation amendments. You presented them in the order in which we compiled the list. I just wanted to make sure, as we consider those going forward, if there was a priority order that was more important, or whether just to follow the order in which you did present them.
Sure, and we'll have a sidebar after committee on this.
All right, sounds good. Next, Representative or Chairman Travis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I'm on page 14, item number 200 and amendment number 162. This is for the Grandview Community Center in Ray County. It sits on top of the mountain where 75% of the residents are retirees and their income is less than $50,000. Right now, they're in a community center that was built in 1950s. Everything is original except for 2 heating air units that was put in 1988 that only heats and cools 50% of the building. So this $45,000 would put new windows, energy efficient windows in the community center, and also put 4 units for the community center.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Travis. Seeing no questions. Representative Alexander, you're next. Page 1, members.
I hope that means I'm number 1 in your hearts.
Yes, ma'am. Always. Much.
The first one on that list, I'll just go through as it is on the list, is for the Boys and Girls Club. We need $369,330 to replace 2 gym floors. We recently raised enough money to replace the roofs in those old buildings, and we couldn't replace the floors until the roofs were replaced, but these will replace the floors. We serve about 206 children there. I'm just a very big supporter of Boys and Girls Club. So that's that one.
Yes, ma'am. Next.
Second one is the Tennessee Association of Fairs. I've come to you before asking for funds for the fairs. I'm a product. I'm a fair child. I grew up showing cattle all across the fairs across this state, and I'm a firm believer that if we're going to invest a lot of money in our state fair, that we also need to invest in the fairs that are the feeder system to this program. This is a statewide request. It's for fairs all over the state. It will be in the form of a grant. It will be administered by the Tennessee Association of Fairs. We're asking for $3 million. It's not listed as reoccurring. They would like it to be reoccurring, but we'll take anything we can get. Okay.
Fine.
And the last one is Good Samaritan Ministries here in 2006, started an eye clinic with a optometrist in town, and they are in need of replacing some equipment there to the tune of $38,570.50. They treated in the last 10 months 60 patients who have no insurance or they're not good insurance. So it's around 8 counties it serves. So it's part of our First Tennessee Development District. We ask for that funding of 38,000 one time.
Thank you, Representative Alexander. I appreciate that so much. Chairman Vaughn, if you'll grab her seat when she leaves, that'd be great. And Raper, Representative Raper, you will grab Representative Parkinson's seat. Representative Parkinson, you are next. You are recognized. For the members, his budget appropriation amendments are on page 12.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And let me see, 1, 2, 3. I see 3 Seersucker Caucus members. If I can pick up about 4 or 5 more votes, we'll be A-OK.
Thankfully, you're in finance, and the number of Seersucker Caucus members is a lot more than that. So they leave it up to us for the math, but you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. 3 years ago, I talked to the governor and talked to the members, some of the members here about us helping with youth sports. And the purpose of us helping with youth sports was to prepare and those youth and give them the activities that would keep them from getting tied up in the justice system, getting tied up in activities that wouldn't be beneficial to them. And the reason why I was pitching that was because we have Blue Oval City coming online. And it is those children that are in these youth programs now that are going to fill those jobs at Blue Oval City. So we had to make sure that we put safeguards in place and mentorship and things of that nature in place to and an investment in that, rather, to ensure that they will continue to be eligible to fulfill those jobs at Blue Oval City when it comes online. And I asked the governor and our leadership here, for $500,000, and it was granted. And honestly, this investment has truly done exactly what we had proposed for it to do, and that is to keep those children, in spaces that will make them productive citizens as they get older. And to date, we have not lost, and this is statewide, we have not lost one child to the justice system that are part of these programs, these youth sports programs, where this money has been invested, and these children are thriving. And additionally, any of us that have been coaches before, in here, we know that when you are a coach, you are the father, you are the transportation, you are the everything to these children to keep them on the right path. And so I'm asking again that we come back again and invest another $500,000 into youth sports. This has become a great pipeline to get to our children directly and to assist them. So I hope that you'll give that some consideration. The second item is for we have been planning for the last few years the largest farmers market in West Tennessee. This farmers market is called the West Tennessee Regional Farmers Market. We got the property. Actually, the property came from TDOT. It was right-of-way property that was utilized when TDOT was building an overpass on Highway 14. And since we've gotten that property, we continue to plan. And what this $5 million will go to is to help get that project, off the ground. The location is vitally important. That location there are 58,000 cars per day that go past this location on Highway 14. It sits between I-40 and where the rural parts of our community start, right at Egypt Central off of Austin P Highway. And it feeds all of the incoming traffic from Tipton County and going back into Tipton County from Shelby County and other counties as well in West Tennessee. And so we hope that you would give some consideration to this, because this would be major for food distribution, fresh food distribution, and for our ag community to bring their goods to market. So I hope that you'll give that some consideration. We're proud of this project, and hopefully we can get the state on board with it.
Thank you, Representative Parkinson. Next on my list, just a reminder, after that fantastic explanation. His brevity is good. So Chairman Doggett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I have about 7 items between pages 3 and 4 that I'd love to speak with you about today, but because of the directive from the chairman, I will choose 3 and try to be as brief as possible. The first item is one I would think that would not be a familiar occurrence that would occur in here. We're not asking for any additional monies. What we are requesting here with this appropriation is in 2022, this committee allocated $1 million to help fund a grant through DIDD for powered height adjustable adult size changing tables. That grant was set at $5,000. What we are asking to do is, with the existing money that we still have, is for this committee to up that from $5,000 to $10,000. Currently, we have 61 applications submitted for this program. 46 have been funded. We passed legislation on the floor just a few weeks ago that would put in statute this grant program to be administered through DIDD based off of appropriations, and so there are no recurring funds. That was item number 40 on your calendar. The second thing I'd like to talk to you about today is item number 46. This is on behalf of our friends from 220. Each year in our country, 7,400 veterans die because of suicide. Military vets are 22% more likely to commit suicide than United States civilians. Police and fire are at a greater number to die of suicide than they are in the line of duty. In 2019, there was 288 suicides across this country committed by law enforcement officers, while only 155 died in the line of duty. And with firefighters in 2017, it was 103 committed suicide, with only 93 being lost in the line of duty. What this program does, it's free for the military persons, first responders, and their immediate families. There's no cost to them. It uses 2 types of neurological reset or intervention processes that disconnect the emotions attached to traumatic memory or event. It can also be administered in the acute stress or post-traumatic stress phases of trauma, and that's the trauma resiliency protocol. They also use an emotions management process that's a neurological disconnect, and it approaches it from the negative emotions differently. It goes to the root of the emotion, whether it's rage, anger, sadness, shame, survivor guilt, hurt, anxiety, etc., and it frames them in a way that the brain will release the lock on those emotions. And with these processes that they utilize, persons are not ever required to talk about the event that they went through. Matter of fact, it is not allowed for them to discuss it. And this keeps the coach and the client safe to work through all the trauma without any of the worry of divulging deeply private details and personal details. We're asking for $20,000, and what this is for is to help fund coaches who will be able to meet with these clients. It's all done through telehealth or by telephone there. They're able to go through these processes. It costs about $2,000 to train someone to be able to do this. These are peer-to-peer type situations. So this would be for law enforcement. It would be another law enforcement officer that's in this state that could help through this process. Law enforcement could do this with military. A military person could also do this with members of law enforcement or first responder family. And so that's what we're trying to do is get some money to help train these. Like I said, it's $2,000 per person to get them trained through this certification to be able to do these processes. And then the third thing I was going to speak about today is item number 41, the Weather Radar Foundation of the Tennessee Valley. Several years ago, we had put some monies in to help them with the radar that they already had to help fill some gaps. They're trying to move towards a larger radar. It's going to have more coverage area across 3 different states. It's going to help around 600,000 Tennesseans in the southwest middle Tennessee portion, kind of on that border of West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee, down there in that corner where a lot of our more violent storms have come through over the last 5 or 6 years. They're just trying to beef that up, and that's our ask on that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chairman Doggett. Next on my list, Representative Fritz, you are recognized. And Speaker Marsh, if you'd like to take Representative or Chairman Doggett's chair when he gets up, that'd be great. Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I have 5 items. I will limit myself to just 3 of those to discuss through today. The first on priority for me is item number 58 on page 5. And that is an ask for 2.5 million in recurring dollars. This is one of the strategic initiatives that was presented to me by the Tennessee Board of Regents. It is to help augment police force at our community colleges and our TCATs. We have 13 community colleges and 27 TCATs. We recently advertised a police officer position at the TCAT, I think in Livingston. I just talked with the chief early this morning at Roane State. And he said they'd been advertised since January and there's no applicants. So we have a real issue with that. With the increasing violence in our society, it's important that our college campuses and TCATs have that deterrent in place. So I humbly submit that. Number 2 item that I'll speak to you about and my priorities is number 57 on the previous page of the list. And it is to provide the non-federal partnership funding for Asian carp barrier installation. The Corps of Engineers has submitted that they plan to start the design and engineering of January of 25. Our portion, if the state decides to fund the non-federal partnership, is $225,000 for each of those barriers. So you'll see a request for $450,000. I would offer that in 2017, US TVA estimated that we receive about $1 million per mile of shoreline in each one of the counties that borders the Tennessee River. We're trying to protect that upper basin against the invasion of these Asian carp. And so with that, I would appreciate your consideration. And third is the second of the strategic initiatives that the Tennessee Board of Regents offered me. It is a $3 million one-time ask. This is to implement the best practices roadmap that stems from the campus assessment conducted by the Department of Homeland Security, our Department of Homeland Security, and THEC. This is for installation of films on windows, communications devices, etc., in those schools. Again, I spoke with one of the chiefs at one of the community colleges today, and just the ability to communicate with local law enforcement during a drill has proved challenging in some cases for our community colleges and TCATs. I would offer to you that these institutions may become high-value targets if we see an increase in violence in the United States and in our state, and with that would submit your consideration. Then item number 4 on my priority would be number 60, and number 5 would be 61. And with that, I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Representative Fritz. Next on my list, Chairman Todd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On page 14, I have items number 197 and 198. 197 is the request for $10 million non-recurring for a grant to McKellar-Sipes Regional Airport to be utilized for airport upgrades and renovations for this truly regional airport. It's in the center of West Tennessee, and we're seeing some expansion pains right now and growth in that area as well. Obviously, all over West Tennessee with Blue Oval and SK Innovations coming to the region. And now there's a significant need to expand the current facilities at McKellar-Sipes Regional Airport, such as additional hangar space and runway expansions. As a result of these expansions, West Tennessee, this particular airport would receive an additional $850,000 annual funding from FAA automatically when our flight totals get to 10,000 passengers per year. And with SK and Blue Oval, we're going to see more than that just with those alone. Plus, we have a lot of other local folks that are going to be utilizing jet service that we have on tap right now. That we've got 2 different regional jet services that are competing for a contract this year to join us. So that's going to change the dynamics considerably. We're looking at flights to Chicago and then subsequently to Detroit. So it's going to be a big deal. So that's a big ask for us. There are local matching dollars for some of this project. It's a total $58 million project, and part of that's going to be federal, but our locals have money already set aside for their portion of it as well. And then item number 198 is Foreign Agents Registry funding. This is a request in the amount of $200,000 non-recurring to the Strategic Technology Solutions for the purpose of creating a registry for foreign agents to be housed at the website of the Tennessee Ethics Commission. House Bill 2889 requires any lobbyist or foreign agent to register with the Ethics Commission. In order to create this registry, STS requires the $200,000 from the general fund. This request would serve to fill that need. Once that bill is passed, I'm actually going to present that in GovOps here in just a few minutes. So appreciate your consideration of these.
Thank you, Chairman Todd. Next on my list, Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized. For the members, he's on page 14. Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I've got two projects here that requesting consideration on, each non-recurring funds, each dealing with the arts community. One is of a scale. This body in the past has provided non-recurring funds to support the Overton Park Shell, which is one of the original WPA shells in Memphis. It is truly a regional draw throughout the area, providing free concerts on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights in the summer and fall. If you truly want to go see a mosaic of Memphis and Shelby County citizens, that's the place to go do it. The original $1.5 million worth of funding we provided them, they shored up the structural integrity of the facility. Now they're wanting to move into a preservation stage where they provide a roof over it and keep the weather out of it because of formed concrete shell over above the stage. The other is $30,000 in non-recurring fund for the Collierville Arts Council. This is a scrappy group of folks that are constantly fundraising to support their efforts. There's two theater groups that use the Collierville Community Center, one being a youth-oriented group called New Day Children's Theater, and the other is the Collierville Arts Council. They provide shows throughout the year. And like I said, whenever I see someone bootstrapping the way that this group does, then it makes me want to support them. And so that's what my ask for is here. It's a much different scale than what we're asking for the Overton Park Shell. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Vaughn. Next on my list, the second member of the caucus down there I see today is Chairman Whitson. Colonel, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 8 items here on page 11. I'm going to talk briefly about 4 of them. The first one in priority for me is the Tennessee Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence. That is item number 210. This is to provide grants to nonprofit organizations providing sexual assault forensic exams or rape exams for survivors of rape to help cover the remaining costs of performing such exams that are not covered by reimbursement from the State Victims Compensation Fund. Second is item 209. This is for building restoration of the American Legion Post in the African American neighborhood in Williamson County. Third item is for High Hopes. This is item number 211, is for operating program needs for the inclusive schools and pediatric therapy clinic. And the last item 214, Department of Health, for the purpose of funding 3 dementia care specialist positions with 1 position for each grant division to work with local public health departments to support and assist persons living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. And Mr. Chairman, there's other items on there, the other 4 for consideration. And I do appreciate the tradition of approving all these grant requests for retiring legislators.
Thank you, Chairman Whitson. For the members, however, if you could give us the entity that would be receiving those in the same numerical order. I think you're using a list that was based upon a previously dated appropriations amendment list, and the numbers you gave did not. So if you could give us the amendment number, that would be great in the order in which you presented them.
Oh, can I just write those out and provide to your staff so we can move on?
Happy to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next on my list, mainly because he's got to get to GovOps, Speaker Pro Tem Marsh. Oh, okay. I had you on there. You must have a designee then. So Representative Raper, you are recognized. There you go, Representative Raper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee. I have a budget request for $150,000 for the Caring Place. It is a local homeless shelter. It was recently rebuilt and enlarged, and the funds were gathered through federal dollars, local donations, and city and county. And because of the enlargement, it has brought on the need for more monies, and I'll list them very quickly here for you. First of all, utilities, and the majority of that money would be for food purchases, ready-to-work clothing, training expenses, and outreach supplies such as hygiene kits, backpacks, and so on. And once again, I sure appreciate any consideration you give for us.
Thank you, Representative Raper. Appreciate that very much. Next on my list, who's not serving on GovOps because he's Speaker Pro Tem and he has a designee, is Leader Marsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have four. There are items 143, 44, 45, and 46. House Amendment 109 is for the Tennessee Fallen Firefighter Memorial, which is out of the fire school based in Bell Buckle in Bedford County. We normally every year give them $10,500. Just ask for that again this year. Item 144 is a Friends of Henry Horton State Park asked. They want to buy a Swift rescue boat for $14,000. The boat is $22,000. They've raised $8,000, and that will help. They bought some land in Bedford County to be on the Duck River. That would help their project there. Item 145 is South Central Human Resources Agency to provide cash to match a drawdown, a U.S. grant for the purchase of new Meals on Wheels vans, commercial kitchen equipment, commercial freezers, and a commercial refrigerator truck for the USDA commodity program. Their ask is for $400,000. The last one is House Amendment 112. It is for the Science Alliance of Tennessee to support the on-site STEM education programs, mobile education programs, teacher education, community outreach. This is a statewide program through 6 Science Alliance museums in Tennessee. Their ask is for $600,000.
All right. Thank you very much, Speaker Marsh. Appreciate that very much. Next on my list, Chairman Darby, page 3 on your list. Chairman Darby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is item number 38, amendment number 15. I've been fortunate enough the last few years to get to carry something for the Special Olympics, and they've nominated me this year, so we're asking for $500,000. And I'll take that a step further. We got to work out with the kids here a few months ago. Being in this position, we've got to do a lot of neat things up here, but there's nothing more rewarding than waking up the next morning knowing that you did something good. And with that, I respectfully ask. And then if I could, Mr. Chairman, my name's on a co-sponsor here. If there's ever any regional request, this right here is number one. It's got to be close to the number one request for regional effort. This is for the airport upgrades for Jackson, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything there, we would surely appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman. I know it's Representative Todd Chairman Todd did present that earlier, and we did had multiple names on it from both sides of the aisle, which is good. And I believe there are a couple of members on this committee who got to participate in that workout, some of which were sore the next morning, but that's part of it. But I appreciate you and your service for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Next on my list, Representative Chairman Bricken, if you'll come on up and take a seat, you're next on the list. For the members that are on the committee, if you'll prepare yourself, now that we've kind of dwindled everyone that not served on this committee, I'll be recognizing the members on this committee until such members do return. And once they do, we'll take them one at a time. Once we do get through the members of the committee, we will be close to adjourning. So thank you for your attention. Chairman Bricken, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I really wasn't that prepared. I came down here just to see how the generosity of this committee was looking. But I have 3 requests. Two dealing with Colmont, Tennessee, and Grundy County. Colmont's a very small town and very underfunded. And they need a city hall annex, and there's, I think, $45,000 requested for the city of Colmont. And then Colmont also has a new, I guess, trail park that they built, and they need a maintenance building to that park. And so they have personally requested that request. And then I have a very large one, $500,000, to save an historic truss bridge in Manchester, Tennessee, under the old Stone Fort State Park. It's an unusual request. We think there's money all around this, and I can't. Y'all don't have the time to hear all the details, but it is a very needed bridge. So, thank you, committee.
Thank you, Representative Bricken. Next on our list, walks right in, sits down, Representative Shaw. You are recognized on your appropriations amendments on page 14, members.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, good afternoon, committee. Thank y'all so much for hearing me today.
Thank you. I don't know if you were here for the announcements in the beginning, but based upon your start, I just wanted to remind the members that we're going to take these in the order in which you want them. You would prefer them to be funded, and brevity is better. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And since I know I'm not going to get but one, all I need is a driver's license settled down in Bolivar, Tennessee. That's what I need. And I just feel like you can find that money. And that's it. I mean, that's all y'all today. I mean, look at me. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Shaw. If you will return Chairlady Hazelwood's crystal ball to her office, she would appreciate that very much. But
I have it here in my pocket.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Speaking of our favorite chairlady, the best in the House, Chairlady Hazelwood, you are recognized on your budget appropriations amendments. And for the members, those are on page 7.
Oh, thank you, but I'm a bit perturbed that I'm only the best chairman in the House. I mean, I would think that would,
I didn't mean the House of Representatives. I mean in the House.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel ever so much better. The it's priority order here, and I'm sorry, I haven't done a good job on looking at that, but the number one, I think, because mental health is such a huge issue in our state, and the Helen Ross McNabb, it serves Chattanooga, Knoxville, a lot of different areas, and this, we heard something earlier along these same lines, but our military really have a lot of difficulties in this area, particularly, and this $300,000 would be directed towards military members and their families. I think that's something that we forget a lot of times, is the impact that their problems have on, or their service has on their families. So that one again is $300,000 for Helen Ross McNabb. The Department of Economic Development, SBIR grants are out there from the federal government. It's a good drawdown for us. These SBIR grants, I hope that you have heard from people in your communities who have gotten these. They really have been effective. They've helped a lot of businesses move to the next level. And my request would be for $10 million for that drawdown. And just as a matter of information, we do have $10 million and more worth of qualified requests that we aren't able to fund with the current level. So then the YWCA, just a small $50,000 request there. It's small in terms of finance committee, but for student conferences that, again, provide through the Center for Civic Engagement. And they bring those kids in here. We see them every year, and they just need the dollars to keep continuing to give them that experience. And then finally, last but not least, is the TPAC. Last year, we put money in the budget for TPAC. It was a matching, it's a requirement that they get participation public matching, which they are doing. We had an intention stated in that budget to do this year, recognizing that intentions and budget limitations don't always match up. But again, that's the request. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair Lady. And you are correct. Unlike most of the opportunities that we funded. We're already in this space by owning TPAC currently. The goal is when TPAC leaves for us to lease that property to someone else to help generate revenue. And unlike other projects, though, because the state's already involved in it, they're raising outside dollars for 20% of that value of the new facility. So I look forward to talking to you and the members about that. Next on my list, Chairman Baum, Vice Chairman Baum. Did you have any requests? Okay. Next is Chairman Hicks.
Points for the vice chairman.
Yes. All of his things were fulfilled. Thank you.
Well,
Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
I'll make up for Vice Chairman Baum. And I don't have this in any particular order. I'll just be honest with you. I'm just going to start and I'll hurry. The first one is Amendment 142. This is for Save the Children Federation, again, for targeted school age literacy, math, nutrition, and early childhood development programs to children and families in impoverished rural communities in this state. Again, statewide application, 1.5 million. Number 2 would be for Hancock County. That's an Amendment 143. This would be for the completion of a park in Hancock County, and the state has already made a huge investment in this park, so this would help them to complete that. Also, the next page, it'll be Amendment 144, City of Harrogate. This would help them with their park improvement for $100,000 there. Amendment 145, the DHS, this would be for $270,000 non-recurring. This would be for the sole purpose of making $30,000 grant to each human resources agency in Tennessee. Again, this would be statewide application. Also, Amendment 146, this would be for East Tennessee State. This would be $47,520,000. This would be for phase 2 funding of the Brown Hall Capital Project. Also, staying in the vein of East Tennessee State, Amendment 147, that would be to cover the Gatton College of Pharmacy's inflationary expenses to the tune of a recurring $207,650. Moving right along to Amendment 148, this would be for Persist Tennessee. Again, programs and services provide college coaching support to first generation graduating high school seniors and college students across the state, 330 non-recurring. Also, Andrew Jackson Foundation, I think they've been around and speak to all of us, but that's Amendment 149. This would be to construct a new visitor center, education museum, and collections facility at the Hermitage for $150 million. Also, Amendment 225, this is East Tennessee Historical Society, $3.3 million non-recurring for educational outreach among the 35 East Tennessee counties. Also, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Hicks. Next on my list, Chairman Boyd. You're recognized for the members on page 1. Chairman Boyd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Page 1, item number 5, House Amendment number 76 deals with the Administrative Office of the Courts, specifically the Indigent Representation Fund. It's not the rate for attorneys that are drawing off of that to represent indigent cases has not been adjusted since 1997. This would be $8,549,000 on a recurring basis to raise them by $10 an hour. And it is reaching a point, several of our judges in the area have said they're having a difficult time finding attorneys that will take these cases. So thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. Item number 6 on page 1, amendment number 77 is for Wilson Rides. Wilson Rides is a nonprofit organization in Wilson County that provides transportation services for senior citizens throughout Wilson County, drives them to the grocery store, doctor's office visits, and other transportation needs. It's entirely free to the senior citizens, and we're requesting $60,000 recurring. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Boyd. Next on my list, Chairman Zachary, page 16 and 17. Chairman Zachary, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members have 4 requests. First, I'll go to item number 229, which is $165 million for the University of Tennessee Chemistry Building. We've discussed as a full committee the lack of funding that was prioritized in the governor's budget for higher ed. Chairman Hicks just talked about ETSU. We've talked about Tech, UTC. This specifically is for the University of Tennessee. I have letters here, Mr. Chairman, from Eastman, Volkswagen, and LG requesting support and funding for that because of the regional impact. A third of all UT students do go through that building. Our colleague, Representative Dave Wright, had classes in that building in the early 60s when it was fairly new. When I was there in the late 90s, the building was not in good shape and it's falling apart and it's well past end of life. So this is a critical need. Pricing on that just 24 months ago was 125 million. It's now 165 million. So, Mr. Chairman, I would request attention to that. Next, I'll go to item number 227, which is for Best Buddies. It's something we typically do each year for our friends with intellectual disabilities, $100,000. Next would be for the Knoxville Leadership Foundation. $1 million of that was already covered in the AA, and that request is for $2 million for renovations of the new building they bought and the significant impact regionally in East Tennessee. And then finally, Pat Summit Foundation, their incredible work they're doing for Alzheimer's, and that's a request for $750,000. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you, Chairman Zachary. Next up, Representative Barrett, you're recognized. Yep. You don't have any? That's okay. You were talking to me about someone else is advocating for those. I thought maybe you had some as well, but thank you. Representative Lynn, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My ask is for the Mount Juliet Little League. They have been plagued by 2 tornadoes, straight line winds. They're still recovering. I thank this committee for giving them $10,000 last year, and it helped a lot, and there's still more work to do. They serve young boys and young girls in our community, and they teach them good sportsmanship, and it's just a wonderful program, and they just need a little help on their facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lynn. Next on my list, Representative Freeman, page 4 for the members.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is for $50,000 non-recurring to the Tennessee Respite Coalition. The Respite Coalition puts volunteers with people that are taking care of family members who are sick. Many of the grants that they can apply for are for direct patient care and cannot go to administrative costs. And what this does is just allows them to fund the administration of their program.
Thank you, Representative, very, very much. And last but not least, for the day, we think, if no one walks in the back of the room, Representative Miller, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 12, it's really one request, 161. Pretty self-explanatory for Memphis Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Mr. Chairman, I just received a request or text from Representative Harris, and I would like to, if it's not too late, to co-sponsor at least 3 of his 13 requests, just 3.
Yes, you may present 3 of his requests. I know that he reached out to another member of your caucus today, and they were unable to make it today, and they were supposed to present. So we did get notification that someone was going to be presenting 3 of his. If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to do that now. But Representative Harris, you have gotten older since the last time I saw you. Representative Miller, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, 84, page 6. We'll start with Heal the Hood Foundation of Memphis. That's 100,000, and we'll go from there to 85, 212. Pure Power Foundation, a request of 1.5 million, and the third would be Girls Incorporated of Memphis, and that would be 86, 213. I did, just one more. I said 3. Memphis branch of the NAACP, and that is number 77, and request of $100,000, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. I do think that Representative Harris, you did a fantastic job. Representative Harris gets the gold star for having the most budget appropriation amendments filed by any single member. Thankfully for him, there was another member that almost achieved $1 billion in ask this year. It would have been a first. And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear from any of those today. But it would have been interesting. But I want to thank the members for coming in a little bit early on Monday. As we said earlier, each appropriations amendment and the bills filed that require funding will be considered by the finance team as it relates to their statewide, local, and regional and local impact. Chair Lady Hazelwood and Chairman Baum, Chairman Hicks, and I will take those into consideration. If you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to our offices with those direct questions. Each of these, obviously, we have been saying since we walked in the door on the second Tuesday of January that the budget is completely different than it's probably been in the last 8 years. And so it's going to make this job and funding, not just bills, but appropriations very difficult this year. But without any questions, we're going to go back. Yes, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I think it was last week, a supplemental budget was introduced in finance, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a line item, legislative line item. Now, this is coming out of the governor's office. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a $25 million, if I can remember that.
Representative Miller, the original baseline budget the governor presented back in March included $5 million non-recurring and $3 million recurring for legislative priorities. In his amended budget, he did not increase the recurring amount at all. He did, however, increase the non-recurring amount by $25 million, increasing the new totals from 5 to 30 in total, and $3 million recurring would stay the same. As you know, this body is responsible, under the guidance of Chair Lady Hazelwood, is responsible for setting the budget of the state. And so those priorities, which the body seems important, regardless of whether they were in the baseline budget or not, is really at the will of this body and with her leadership. And so we look forward to taking it under advisement as a good suggestion, and then figuring out how we think best to prioritize those monies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that explanation.
Yes, sir.
Well said.
Any other questions? We're going to go back in session with no further business. Any other questions, personal orders, nothing? Okay, well, then we stand adjourned.